Hello, my name is Frank Dubinsky. Today I am reporting on a news article for my Management 315 class, Fundamentals of Human Resources. The assignment is to take a 5 to 8 page news article and compare it to the information that we have learned within the class. I have chose the performance appraisal systems as a topic for comparison. The article that I chose to compare to the textbook is "Don't Redesign Your Company's Performance Appraisals, Scrap It." It was written by Fred Nichols on 5/20/2010. The introduction to the article basically explains why performance appraisals should be removed from a business, particularly a larger scaled business. Throughout this report, I will try to relate some of my own personal experiences with the news article and the author's opinion. The first reason for removal, according to the author, is the actual cost of what it takes a company to actually perform these appraisals in reference to the amount of money, both, as he explains, hard costs and soft costs. Now the hard costs are costs that can be actually calculated, such as the time spent by each individual employee doing each particular stage of the actual performance appraisal system. If you would like to have some type of idea on how much, let's say you're running a business and you want to have an idea of approximately how much a performance appraisal system may run, what you would like to do is take double the number of employees who receive appraisals and add 3 zeros in front of it. And that's basically how much it costs a company to install a performance appraisal system. Some companies in the world today actually spend over $100 million on performing an appraisal on their employees. Reasons why most companies do not remove the appraisal system: one, is they regard it as a necessary part of an organizational management system. Two, the benefits they believe the company will gain by having this performance appraisal system. One would be the opportunity for feedback, which throughout the article the author explains that there's no need to have an appraisal system in order to gain feedback from your employees, and he'll also explain better ways to get the feedback from your employees without actually having this system. Performance-related discussions like training and promotions, which the author actually believes that neither one of them rarely happen through the performance appraisal system, and that the company also believes that this is a fair and valid way of promoting or giving raises, but more importantly to the organization, they believe it provides them a legal backing against lawsuits for discrimination. And that's much more, I can get much more in depth, which I'm not going to touch on today. But I would like to get to the reasons why the author feels that it should be removed from organizations. And basically, like I said before, the hard costs, there's a lot of money that gets spent on employees, the time to create this appraisal system. Then you figure the time for each individual employee, depending on which type you have. If an employee himself is actually doing appraisal on a manager, they have to take the time. And then you have the actual meeting amongst the face-to-face meeting where there's 2 employees now taking their time to try to give some type of feedback, which from my own personal experience I can tell you that when you sit in an office with a manager and he wants your honest opinion, rarely ever do you even give an opinion. And if you do, it's certainly not as harsh or as blunt as you would like to give it. I have better experience of and personal experience of knowing that on just a day-to-day basis, walking around and explaining to them what I think is right or wrong about the company, that's really the true feedback you're getting from your employee. But unfortunately, that seems to be the feedback that does not get documented. So if organizations were to take that type of feedback more seriously, they might be able to get more valid and truthful information from their employees. The second and the most probably expensive cost is the one that cannot be calculated, and that's the soft cost. And these are costs that come from the emotional side of your employees. These appraisal systems, they bring anxiety, they bring depression, they stress the employees out. They worry, am I going to have a job when this is done? So there's a lot of that gets built up inside an employee that no employee looks forward to an appraisal. But there's an exception to that. And my personal experience is that if you worked for a company for so long and you realize that after these appraisals, they come and they go, but nothing ever seems to happen. There's no changes made. Your raise is not sufficient. It's not. You can't even really compare raises amongst employees. You tend not to really care that it's going on. And it's just a matter of just going through just getting it done. How fast can I get out of that office, and get back to work? So that's even really a worse emotion. Is having your employee not care. Then the other soft cost is you have the morale. Morale really goes down due to perception of the system being unfair. Like I said, not seeing a change, that can be a big problem. Then you have your lack of productivity. Experts believe that there's a 3 to 6 month temporary reduction in productivity. And again, it's these types of costs that can't be measured, but they do the most damage. And the final reason why the performance appraisal system should be scrapped is it simply just does not work for most companies. And as I said before, there's after a while, the veteran employees, they just lose the hope in the system. And from my personal experience, I've been rated, somehow I was mistakenly rated 5 stars out of 4 stars on an appraisal. Okay, I did great. Oddly enough, I got the same 3% raise as the gentleman that got 3 stars. So that's what really turned the tides for me and losing hope in the system, and really just not finding the value in it at all. What the author believes in the article, the author believes that without these appraisal systems, the benefits that would come about and what he believes that would happen is that more employees will start to work together and help other employees succeed. You see, when you're being scored on an individual performance and your salary is rated on that performance, well, there's an understanding that how much money is there to be distributed. So I want the most money I can get. And a lot of times that can turn into some selfish acts at the workplace. Not necessarily lending a hand when it's here, maybe not even truly educating the other employees on what you know for fear that, well, if they know it, then they're going to be the ones that actually get the better salary out of the deal. And again, he also believes that more salaries will be distributed. The fact that you're not spending all this money on a performance appraisal system, which, like I said, barely works, that hundreds of millions of dollars, or even if you're in a small company and it's $30,000, that could be distributed amongst employees. And again, if you're in a smaller company, I mean, what's the need for an appraisal system, really? Usually the supervisor's eyes are capable of watching, each employee underneath of them. And sometimes in smaller companies, it's not really necessary to have one. But if they did, well, they should be better off taking that money and distributing it out to their employees. And the feedback, as I said before, with that appraisal system, feedback would be a stronger feedback. There would not be a need for formal feedback, which honestly, that's what really creates the stress within a person, is when you go in there and they give you this appraisal and they sit you down and go, do you have any questions for me? Well, or you'd like to add anything? Hey, do you have anything you'd like to say? Well, there's a great fear that your words can be used against you, and I think that's even more detrimental to your success in that company than your actual score would be. And then, of course, there's a greater economical and emotional benefit that comes out of it. People would make more money, and that they would have less fear about the actual conclusion to the appraisal system. And then one thing about the appraisal system is very biased. People are giving opinions on other people. If you like that person, well, your opinion on that person is going to be different if you didn't like them. That's the main thing. I will say this: the one. Well, let me just draw that back. I'll just jump right to the conclusion. Short on time here. The conclusion for the author is that the only system that works is an unbiased system. Okay, so basically what he points out is that trying to restrict change within a company really can create a situation where a lot of these questions are formatted for the company's benefit and not necessarily the employees. But again, the only unbiased information you're going to get is from the customer itself that actually purchases your product or your service. That's the true appraisal that should be used for the company, and not necessarily one given by the employee. And an appraisal system is not required to know who should be fired and who deserves the more money and who is worthy of a promotion. I don't believe that an individual score should dictate or could even dictate which individual requires more money, a promotion, or is not worthy of maintaining their employment at the company. And the next best appraisal system will be the one that a company does not use. And I hope you enjoyed this report today. Again, my name is Frank Dubinsky, and this is for my Management 315 class with Professor Drake, The Fundamentals of Human Resources. Thank you very much. Goodbye.